Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Thank you very much for joining us another absolutely marvelous Monday as we invite you to be a part of what's going to transpire here on Talk Today. It's going to be some open line, 949-8037, and of course the toll-free line is up. All 5 lines, imagine that. Hey, let's take a check out on a Friday evening and all 5 lines are open. 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. And I trust that you had the opportunity to join Mr. Art this morning. All his guests, all of the discussions are always not just engaging and informative, very timely, and ensures that we have a chance to participate. Especially this morning when Mr. Kenneth Ebanks, Clydas, as we know him, former Director of Planning, was his guest. And for those who are aware, as part of the planning statement, they and the group have weekly meetings tonight again, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the hall at the Chapel Church of God in West Bay. But let's take this call first. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Mr. Sterling.
Hello. How are you?
Moderator. How are you doing today, Mr. Moderator?
I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm not doing too bad. I'm thankful.
I believe you always are, indeed.
Yes, and glad to be here in the Cayman Islands, where everybody wants to be.
You know, it's great for those of us who still travel. It's great for those of us who have traveled extensively, even as seafarers are the children and grandchildren of seafarers. And there are many, many wonderful, beautiful places in the world. But boy, for me, if this isn't the best,
no, we like the Caymans. No, we like the Caymans.
Despite saying it that way, yeah.
You know, we like the Caymans, like they say the Caribbean, like they say Caribbean. We say Caribbean.
Well,
Caribbean.
I'll be honest with you. There may be tomato, potato, tomato, but I don't know, man. It just has to be savor the flavor and enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, enjoy the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, Sterling, just wondering why we still have cars scattered about from Beryl Hurricane for the 2 weeks now. private cars are scattered throughout the island, still looking refuge for, I guess, for the next one they got to come through. I mean, they're on people's property and no one is saying anything. Is it okay?
You're talking about on the public roads, on private lands. Where in particular are you referring to? Huh?
I'm actually talking some of Linford Pearson Highway.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
And then there's some here and there else too, but I really can't pinpoint right now to you. But there's some cars still scattered about after Hurricane Barrow, you know.
Okay. So let me then ask, right? Because you know, through what you shared, we recognize that as many of us do, but you know, move up and down the different roadways, you know, coming and going. And to your knowledge, from what you've seen, I want to ask two things. One, are the vehicles that you're seeing, you're confident that they were there, you know, prior to the storm and are still there, the same vehicles, right?
Well, I tell you what, when on those two spots on the Present Highway, there was some steel cars over there, and there was a lot of cars added to the Present Highway when Barrow was going down. Some was removed, and some cars are still there, and I can't say that there's any major work going on to the Present Highway for the cars that I see parked up, since they can actually be identified.
Okay.
You remember that high piece of rock that they had there coming in before you get to Linford Present Highway?
On the Bobby Thompson.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You know, you used to go there and put their cars and so forth up there when hurricane come in.
Mm-hmm.
Even a small plane was there some years ago. Well, cars are still parked up there.
Okay.
And I gather they probably still from the hurricane, aftermath. We call it aftermath.
Yeah. And then, yeah. I mean, that may, to some people's minds, be sufficiently off the road that it is an impediment. But that aside, if they are on, they are along the highway, to your knowledge, is it identifiable or not? Whether the police has issued a ticket, any kind of removal sticker or anything has been placed, from what you can see, and I'm not gonna.
Can't say.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. I have a thought and a question, but let me hear your comments first.
Sterling, we talk about the garbage over and over and over and over on this island. And for several years now, we've been having the garbage truck coming out 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when you just really getting some good sleep to get up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock to go to work. You understand? And there's a lot of garbage that is still being put in those small garbage bags. And across one location this morning, Sterling, if they never had over 50 garbage bags out there, these little Foster bags, and there are other grocery store bags out there, they never had 25. You know how long it takes for our collectors to stand there and pick up all those bags one by one? And if they all tear up, it even make matters worse.
Yeah.
When are we going to penalize these landlords and these private home owners?
Yeah. But and not speaking to that specific thing, but I do know that landlords, tenants, and the like, owners would share that when they have, and at least attempted to keep their garbage area clean, people passing, riding bicycles, walking, driving cars will.
They don't throw that much out the Sterling. Come on, they don't do that much out there now. But I tell you what, though, up here on the bypass this morning coming down from Newlands, there's a garbage bag sitting in we call the bicycle lane. I say no. Somebody had to cross and just whip that in their window. A white garbage bag full of garbage. These people have no respect and no regard to cleanliness, hygiene, and disease-free and all that kind of stuff throughout this island. Up by me, we got some cones in the road, right? Someone just apparently just walking or riding and took a bottle, some drink that he drank, and stick it into the mud of the cone. I mean, how much the lowest you can go when it comes to garbage? Now, there's my garbage bins are there, the neighbor garbage bins are across the street, and they're going to walk right across that cone and stick, a liquor bottle. I'm so sorry, Jamaica drink bottle today. I don't know what it's been called, but it's I think it's a Guinness stout or something. I think it's a stout.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking stick it in the mud of the cone. I mean, Sterling, we got them all here. We got them all here. Believe me, we got them all here, and they don't love kid, man. They're just trying to. But I say, when I say don't love kid, man, I tell you, honest God, true Sterling. Our kid miners are getting in the mood to do the same thing that the foreigners are doing. So you don't know who to blame no more to a degree. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, two things. One of our listeners, very, very honorable, respected ladies, shares, I see the cars that you're talking about. And yes, they are all over and haven't been moved yet from the hurricane. All right. So to that point, the second thing is, as long where you were sharing, if your last point, everybody's doing it, no matter whether we're here or whether we've been here forever or just here recently. If that's what we're doing, if that's what we're becoming, instead of raising the bar, we're lowering the standard. Instead of trying to be better, we seem to be a race to the bottom.
Yes, I think we just I don't know. I just put this into it. We have a government that we change out and half change out every 4 years, and we get new people in there. But sometimes we don't know how to get anything new. We just keep talking the same ones in. We get two new ones in America sometimes. But I just can't understand where are the laws that's being made for the growth of the population on this island, with the buildings and the population of human beings from every part of the world that's coming here. I mean, I don't see what is so wrong with saying, hey, we got to put some stricter laws on this island because this is a tourist attraction island, and we have to live here with the tourists. If they don't come here, we still got to live here, so the island should be kept clean at all times.
Well, it's interesting, and I will find a way to share it because of what you have said. One other person messaged and asked me, I don't think they're being facetious. I don't think they're being necessarily trying to goad or whatever, but they asked if I remember the comment that I made in relation to the press release from the police following the passage of that weather system the other day, asking people to move their cars and reminded it's against the law and so could be unsafe. And it's something I want to maybe look at again and maybe read what this person has shared with the intent only and with the attempt to ensure that we talk to an issue without talking about people. Speak together, speak with somebody, and I'll look at it because there's another comment that came through similarly, but it seems increasingly that if the minute you say something, it probably is said incorrectly. It's offend somebody, they mishear, they misunderstand, and then we yes, ma'am.
Let me say something.
Mm-hmm.
People, we're not going to please people what you say or I say, but they'll twist up what you said instead of them trying to figure out and say, what they say or he say.
Mm-hmm.
It has some merit to it. Let's see if we can get it
yes
fixed or something. But this island is becoming a claw down island. As long as they can claw you down and keep you below, it's okay. We're not supposed to rise up and speak our mind.
Yeah, Bob, I'll say get up, stand up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know you got to go, but I want to say one more thing to you.
Of course.
Sterling, the spot stock. That we go up. I know you're going to say me because I haven't worked now in much in the business.
Mm.
Taxes go up to spots when the cruise ship has to go up there when the weather is bad, right? And before you turn around twice, we got to have the fall coming in, and then we got to have a little northwesters come in and cold fronts and so forth. And we have to send a boat up there, one or two, whatever the case may be. Sterling, nothing is being done to that grounds up there at Spot Stop. They ain't got no wheelchair ramp. They ain't got no shade up there. They got to go and rent these things every time. They got to send a boat up there. Why the government got their own stuff in a warehouse already put down there that it can be used whenever it has to be used? We go and rent these things from these other places. They cost money.
Mm-hmm.
They would have got like 2 bathrooms up there. or three. And Sterling, I read in there one time, a furnace. Sterling, a furnace in those bathrooms. They don't have a window. They got some little wood pleat situation there. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time. They had some screen over it, or just wide open. I can't remember. I could be wrong. So I don't ask people, do not take me onto it. We got to go and rent toilets to put up there. We got to go and rent tents to put up there. They're not even making no benches that can be sit down properly with an umbrella or something over it. And nothing is up there. It's full of these stumps from there with below trees. And we got a lot of seniors who is traveling. And I don't know why government keep using that compound if they're not going to try to enhance it. Something needs to be done to it. You know, many people fall along up there. I don't know how many losses government has gotten. You're not going to hear. You know, you're not going to hear how much money they had to pay the individuals. But I know they had a few falls down there and down Georgetown.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. Well, you know what? Maybe people don't, as a public, we always say, oh, you know, everybody knows. But maybe not everybody knows. Maybe not enough people are sharing, either assuming that everybody knows or, you know. But thank you for that. Maybe, just maybe. All right.
Okay, you take care. Thanks.
You too, be safe and enjoy it each day. Okay, bye. Thanks. I know we got some calls. We got a break. We're going to take it. We're going to take your calls. Hey, between the two of us, well, it may be two more. And then next thing you know, there's actually a good gag of us doing a thing. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Share your feedback on Plan Cayman, the proposed development plan for the Cayman Islands. Access the planning statement at www.plancayman.ky and submit your feedback online or at the ongoing public consultation meetings. Online feedback can be made at plancayman.ky until July 30th.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
July is Laundry Month at Brand Source Home Gallery. Get ready to save big with 15% off on all washers and dryers, both domestic and commercial, and 30% off on selected laundry items.
Is your washer or dryer on its last spin? Now's the time to upgrade. From GE, LG, Samsung, Beko, Electrolux to Frigidaire, save up to 30% on laundry appliances during the month of July.
Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Check out brandsourcecayman.com for more deals. Voted Best Appliance Store of 2023.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. We have open line, and what they say, make hay while the sun shines. They say, no matter come arena, high water, we gonna do what needs to be done if we're doing it together. Well, here's a chance. It's Monday. We're in this, month 7 of this year, and many are excited about what is to come, and others are trembling in their boots. A lot of fear and trepidation looms. And it's a matter of perspective, resolve, resilience, but we have it. We can do it. So 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call on 925-32621. Have you received any calls on the toll-free line as yet, my friend? I want to know. Try it. See if it works for you. And when you call, let us know, which provider you're using. Because we're told it's available to all at 1-800-534-8255. Here's something someone sent me earlier. And I want to read most of it for us. I took out 1 or 2 pieces. No matter how it was presented, I thought it would make good reading. You tell me what you think, right? So allow me to put these things on to magnify this thing. And despite how this has been skewed on the paper, let's try to read it. This person writes, okay, it says, many of us have been told that the only political thing we must always do, and the most important thing that we can do, is to vote. Whenever we are called to do it by the ballot box, we must read about the candidates, decide, and mark a little piece of paper. I won't claim you should not vote. However, I believe just voting is far from fulfilling one's political duty. While change sometimes comes from the ballot box, more often it comes from direct action. If you want to cause change, you must do more than vote. You must act. Whether you care about healthcare, ongoing wars, climate change, or that annoying traffic light, political questions are all around us. Theoretically, or rather hopefully, there is a politician or bureaucrat tasked with fixing the specific problem you care about. But that is far from certain. In many cases, when it comes to changing the status quo, these officials need to be constantly and loudly reminded that you need their help. In fact, they often need to be reminded that essentially they work for us, the voters. The way to do that is with civic engagement. Civic engagement includes many things, anything between community group chats. People across society are likely to find different issues they care about and diverse avenues to express their opinions. And that is the point. If every single person who cared about a problem actively sought a solution, our streets would be cleaner, our schools better, and our water fresher. To twist Kennedy's famous words, if we stopped asking what society could do for us and started asking what we could do for society, I think we would all be happier. This issue has been around for a long time, at least since the early 19th century, but I think it is uniquely important today. Although 2024 is the biggest election year in history, with billions of people around the world set to cast ballots for all levels of government, democracies around the world are backsliding into crisis. Multiple regions are utterly devastated by wars. Famine threatens the lives of millions, and unforeseeable extreme weather events are even stronger. So many things seem to go wrong, and change seems almost impossible. But it is. Changes, for better or worse, are brought about by people. Some people start atrocious wars, others secure long-awaited peace. It is usually individuals who fight against all odds that create change, and it is often only in retrospect that we hail these changes as great progress. As Martin Luther King said, the arc of history bends towards justice. Activists help ensure the arc of history bends in the right direction and reaches its destination as soon as possible. There are few individuals like King who led fights for liberation and independence, and we rightfully commemorate them. But without many quote-unquote regular people who followed them, they would not have made a difference. Only with the help of people who joined their struggle did the leaders and causes gradually become stronger. As citizens, we have endless opportunities to join groups in their ongoing struggles during our daily lives. Whether you are interested in national politics, human rights, climate change, or helping refugees, there are people already hard at work. These groups organize discussions, lectures, protests, campaigns. The beauty of it is that they always need more people, and new people are always welcome. By finding people who share a similar passion, you find a community. By working on solving a problem you are passionate about, you will gain a sense of fulfillment. And with a good community and that sense of fulfillment, you'll have the courage to keep fighting for the things you love, even when times are hard. At that point, you will also be reminded where your priorities lie, which will help you get a better work-life balance. Anyone who wants to see change in the world should want to support such groups and organizations. There is no single cause or way to act that is right. You could join a reading group, sing in a choir, whatever is needed. Even share your unsolicited views, like this reader says I'm doing right now. What is important is that you try to make a difference based on what you think is right, and look for people who want to do it with you. I appreciate a person sending that to me. You can read into it as much as you want. I can send it to you if you wish. I look at it and ask, as the writer shared. Right now, 2024, we're told, if you remember, officials from the elections office being in the studio saying that's just getting the ballot papers for our upcoming general elections. They're getting it early because there's going to be a lot of demand for the ballot papers. Right? You're not going to go down to Hampstead and get them. Some of you say, Hampstead? No, that's not in the UK. It was a store used to be here long ago. Good little supply place. The US is going into their election. You're going to see a lot of stuff happening. Yesterday, for some was a shock. For others, took that long. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I called a friend. He was telling me. The UK just went through theirs. Democracy is this person, right? Despite billions going, to the polls, what did the person say is in a back, sliding into crisis. All right, I'm told there's a break. Give us a shout. Share your thoughts. Or, you know what? Just stay quiet and then take what comes. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet. Because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care. close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by The Light Room. Tired of being unwell and struggling to find the energy and vitality to live the life you desire? Come get recharged from the inside out at The Light Room. Our non-invasive, holistic energy enhancement system detoxifies and energizes the body, enabling self-healing and balance. Book online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL, 38 Pasadora Place, GT.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. Is there a call? Nope. Already. Better put that back there so I can see what's going on here. One of our listeners off here in the back, well, let me just, so that I don't misquote it, just say as it was sent. The listener shares that, on the back, they keep, they want to know what's going on with Logic, one of the ISPs, and they say that they had a lightning strike storm yesterday, but service hasn't been restored as yet. That they've been calling the office at Logic and no answer. Yesterday was Sunday. Some of us were fishing. Some of us were heavily in prayer in church. Some of us probably wish we had been because we were so are in need of it, but so be it. So if good folks over at Logic are able to attend to our wonderful family and friends on the BRAC, someone sharing, they had a lightning strike over there and they don't have internet and all the other stuff that they probably not just want, perhaps in today's, world. That may just be, another human right. Who knows? But what do you want to see? What do you want to share? What are you, willing to put on the table? 949-8037, 949-6990. Again, I thank the individual for sharing that with me. I did edit one or two things out only because I think it made it a little bit easier to read for us to get through in our context. But it wasn't anything that materially changed, anything. I put the word citizens in instead of another word, which I thought would be better. But the idea of civic engagement was there, and that remained. The notion that, as that person said, billions of people. I didn't do the calculation to know if that's the case, but the person says, billions of people will be going to the polls in 2024. Now, The U.S. has 330 million citizens or thereabouts. Not sure how many offhand are registered voters, but judging by statistics, we know it won't be that many because some of them are on the age. Some are don't participate for different reasons. The UK went, and their voter turnouts don't always be that high, but nonetheless, we know, and our elections office officials shared publicly that in order to prepare for our upcoming elections, which are expected to be in April next year, they're getting their ballot papers, all prepared, ready to go, so that in the event there might be delays and shortages and what I think that we all hear so much about that we have no clue what's being said because it's just like everything else becomes almost repeated without question. Supply chain issues, and there is such a thing as a supply chain, but boy, right now anything is an excuse and repeated by many without question. Hey, 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp call 925-3261. Quick question from you. What do you think in a democracy is the most important thing? It's not a trick question. I don't know if there is even a right answer. Certainly probably isn't one answer, but what do you think? I'm honestly interested to know. In a democracy, what is the most important thing to your mind? All right, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi. Am I on?
I believe you are. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you for calling, man. I hope you're having a great day so far, huh?
Yeah, nice and sunny over here.
Yeah? Wow.
Good.
That's a change.
Yeah. For a change, yeah. The weather is nice, and this ties into what I want to talk about because I'm now getting the opportunity to go out and see parts of the country. So I can tell you, it has to do with tourism. My question, well, I would say that the headline is Cayman too touristy? Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting an opportunity to go places and see things, and I don't feel like a tourist over here because I'm mixing with the locals, and people don't know that I am a visitor. So most of the events and places and activities I go to, I tell you, honestly, most of the people that are attending these places that we in Cayman would consider tourist places, most people there are British people with their families enjoying the event, the activities, whatever. And I'm looking at it from a tourist point of view. Here I am. No one knows where I'm from. I am enjoying it just like they are. I'm not treated like a tourist. So I'm wondering, is visitors that come to Cayman, are we kind of like boxing them into a tourist product too much? Why? Because of the video we had a few weeks ago, where the visitor said that he didn't get an opportunity to mix with locals.
Okay. I want to hear from you. Right?
Over here, I know some people disagree with me, but over here, all the activities are for anybody. You don't have to be a tourist to take part in anything. You want to go to the horse race, the car race, the dog show, anything. You pay. There's no local fee. There's no tourist fee. You pay, you go, you enjoy.
Okay. Now,
and the same things with the hotels. So I'm just thinking, is Cayman too touristy?
All right.
Why we're not giving visitors the opportunity to mix with the locals?
Yeah. Let me. You can hear me okay, right? Can you hear me okay?
Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Paul, do you hear that? Yeah. Okay. So why I'm asking is because when I speak to you, I hearing this thing here, right? All right. Let me just try something here and see what happens. All right. The reason why I want to ask, and only if you wish, when you say over here, obviously that's implication. Yeah, that's implication. And thank you for right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for telling me. I know, but so thank you for telling everybody.
Yeah.
And you go places and you say, well, they don't know that you are tourists, right?
No.
Are you sure that?
Unless I open my mouth and stuff.
Okay.
But they don't treat me as a tourist. Like I say, the fees are across the board for everyone.
Right.
You know.
So like when
they don't ask me if I'm a local or not. You know, unless you're a 12-year-old child, there's a special rate for children.
Right.
But
so when you go
you enjoy, you know.
Yeah. So when you go, you mentioned hotels. When you go to a hotel, for instance, you can go to the hotel. They don't ask you if you're a guest there. They don't ask you if you're.
No, because our group had taken us to a hotel for lunch. And, I don't even think we had booked. We had just showed up.
Okay.
And nobody asked us if there was a hotel restaurant, and nobody. We didn't book. We didn't stay in that hotel, and we had lunch in that hotel.
Okay. So
and they welcomed us. So
yeah. What if the hotel had facilities like let's just say a pool, for instance, right? And you wanted to go use the pool. Do you or the beach but something like that? You know, do you think that there would be a question as to whether you were a guest there and could use the facilities? Like how some hotels say, you know, those facilities are for guests only, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
What is your perception, or have you had experience with that?
I never have experience with that because most of the hotels here, they don't have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Because I think because of the weather.
Right. But other facilities, yeah. And what I wanted to ask, because you said some things from which I draw an inference. In Cayman, we're hearing increasingly, and we understand in other Caribbean destinations as well, some have these gated, what do they call them? All-inclusive, right? You can use different words, but you can't go and use the facility or get on the properties in these other destinations unless you are staying at the property at the hotel, right?
That's in Cayman.
No. In other Caribbean places, maybe other parts of the world, but in the Caribbean where they have these inclusive places, maybe they're so over there. Yeah, there's such a crime rate and it's such a horrible place that people probably get killed if they go outside the gates. But if we're not careful, we probably have to see crap happening here, right? But that aside, you can't use the facilities there unless you're staying there, right? And they're all inclusive and other things, right? But in the Cayman context, increasingly now we're finding a number of things. So I wanted your take on it based on what you said, that they don't look at you and can't tell whether you're a tourist or not, right? So in the Cayman context, we know that if you go on the beach, they even want to run you off the beach. Should you go even to use, say I want to make a reservation at the restaurant, you ask, well, do you stay here? Are you a local? Some people might be okay with that. Some people might question, well, what do you need to know? I want to come eat here. You should be asking me, can I, afford it? Even that would be bad enough. Now, I do not subscribe. I do not support, condone anybody using anybody's property without permission, right? So because you walk in the beach and there are beach chairs there, they're not yours. Whether it belongs to the hotel, the condo, or they're just there, you didn't put it there, don't sit yourself down it. Not yours, right?
I agree with you.
That's me. If that offends people, well, it's not yours, leave it alone, right? So what I'm asking is, we know those two things happen in Cayman. You run off the beach, and if you come to want to do breakfast or lunch or dinner or whichever, even to the extent some have alleged that they call the hotel, they say, man, I want to book a weekend, for whatever reason. If they sound like they're not, as long as they, how do I put that? They sound like they're from here, they seem to be given a problem. And we hear that more and more. You see me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because they hear that the people are from Cayman, then they think there's going to cause a problem. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if they think they're going to cause a problem, but they are oftentimes told, and this is what we're hearing increasingly, or we're full, there's no vacancy, or if they go and they say they want to have, I'm generalizing, right? I'm not pointing to hotel A, B, or C.
Yeah.
People have expressed that they've experienced this at many properties. They're told, different things. Some are even said, have said that when they go to make a reservation, they ask, well, are you from here? And not to extend any kind of special rate or treatment or anything, but to be almost feel as if it's an us and them. And I'm wondering, what is that? Why is that? Is it just a way it's presented? Is it designed to be like it is in the other Caribbean destinations where, if you don't stay at the hotel, and you can't stay at the hotel unless you are a visitor to the country, then as a resident of the country, local, they call us, you're excluded. Now, only if you wish. I'm told that, I do apologize, I didn't look at the clock. We're over into the news. Yeah. Do you wish to stay on, or you want to exit now and take a good way out, because, boy, you might get in trouble? You want to hold on?
I'll hold on.
All right. When we talk about speed, when we come back. All right, our listeners,
All right.
Gentlemen has agreed to give us some more time. Join us after the news.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. One of Cayman's largest youth football programs has achieved record success competing in this year's Target USA Cup held in Minnesota. Academy Sports Club returned from its week-long competition at one of the largest youth football tournaments in the world with 1 gold and 2 runners-up trophies. The club's under-19 boys won the prestigious under-19 gold championship, and its under-19 girls and under-16 boys came runners-up in their respective finals. In international news, cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike says a significant number of devices that were impacted by a global IT outage on Friday are now back online. In a social media post, the company, whose faulty security update caused Microsoft Windows computers to crash around the world, added it continues to focus on restoring all systems. Microsoft has estimated that the incident, which is being described as one of the worst IT outages in history, impacted 8.5 million computers around the world. Businesses, banks, hospitals, and airlines were among the worst hit, with some still struggling to fully restore their systems. Republican members of Congress are focusing on the role of the Secret Service as their frustration and anger grow over the agency's response to an attempt to assassinate presidential nominee Donald Trump. A House committee hearing will on Monday grill its director, Kimberly Cheadle, about security lapses at a Pennsylvania rally earlier this month. Ms. Cheadle's agency is charged with providing protection to the president and his family, former presidents, those in line to the White House, and other political candidates. Republicans who control the House have been unified in pushing for Ms. Cheadle to step down or be fired after a 20-year-old gunman was able to shoot the former president in the ear at the July 13th rally. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Residents of Boddentown, we want to hear from you. As HSA plans to expand our services and facilities in the Eastern Districts, we want to give you a chance to tell us what services you'd like offered in Boddentown so that we can best serve our community. We invite you to complete our brief online survey by visiting hsa.ky or the Boddentown Health Center for more details. At HSA, we remain committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly. As with many of the men of his generation, he went to sea at the tender age of 15 and worked for Mr. Southwell and National Bulk Carriers for some 30 plus years. During this time, he rose from being an oiler pumpman to the post of second engineer after completing correspondence engineer courses from a school in New York. He sailed on many ships, including the Universe Leader, Universe Defender, or Titan, or Venus, or Meteor, or Transport. After his tenure at National Bulk Carriers, he was one of the few Brackers who worked with Cayman Energy Company doing the ship-to-ship oil transfers off the island in the 1980s. After a medical injury, he retired from sea and started his own plumbing engineer company, C&H Plumbing.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Share your feedback on Plan Cayman, the proposed development plan for the Cayman Islands. Access the planning statement at www.plancayman.ky and submit your feedback online or at the ongoing public consultation meetings. Online feedback can be made at plancayman.ky until July 30th.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. And to the fine gentleman, hey, thanks for sticking around. On all is well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to, let's see if I can wrap it up in a nutshell. What I'm trying to explain is that the attractions and activities for visitors who want to come to Cayman, it shouldn't be just the attractions and activities should not be just for visitors. It should be for everyone.
Right.
And that would give visitors an opportunity to interact with locals. But from what the way I see it is that we have visitor attractions. I don't think that should be a thing. It should just be Botanic Park.
Yeah.
Stingray City for anyone. And if say today is my day off and I feel like I want to take a trip to Stingray City, I go book my trip and I off to Stingray City with people who are visiting the island, and then they'll get an opportunity to interact with me.
I think I don't
want somebody to say, "Oh, that's a touristy thing to do. What are you going to Stingray City for? You're not a tourist." No, it shouldn't be like even the diving and the snorkeling. Many of us, Caymanians haven't been diving because we think that's a tourist thing.
Right. Right.
So we should. Whoever is in charge should mark it as one across the board. Attractions in the Cayman Islands is for everyone. There's no tourist attraction and local attraction.
Yeah, man.
So just the attraction, you go and spend a day, then that will give you an opportunity with the locals. And now I know that some hotels might have facilities that are only for guests. That's fair enough, and they would explain that to the locals. And Cayman is small. We should be able to figure that out or be informed of that.
Right. And that's why I was
pools and so on, and we should ask and inquire what is and what isn't.
Yeah. But also too, I hope you can hear me okay. Also too, I think that we, no matter who we are, if we are, like say, just take for example, the example with the hotel with a pool. If you're not staying at the hotel, is it unreasonable for the hotel to say, well, the pool, the tennis court, the gym, whatever it is, those facilities are only for those staying at the hotel, right? What's your view on that? And should that is that unreasonable?
Yeah. No, that's not unreasonable. The hotel has a right to tell you that the facilities are for guests only. I think I've been to a few places like that too.
Right. But what about
there's a maintenance cost, there's an upkeep cost, and if you have the general public come and use it for free,
But what about if you are not staying at the hotel, right? So you don't have a room, but you've gone to the hotel for a meal. Let's say a brunch, for instance. I just try to think of an activity that may be over an extended period of time. And would it be unreasonable? You can have the meal, pay for the meal, whether it costs more, get a discount, whatever it is, right? You've enjoyed it. But now you want to lounge around, literally. You want to sit by the pool. Maybe you want to take a dip in the pool. You've been there. You've used, the facilities. You've bought the meal. Would that be unreasonable? Would that be okay to do, you think? What's your just your personal view?
No, that wouldn't be unreasonable to do. I think you should ask permission in an environment like that.
Okay, so it should be implicit then. Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, lounging around and sitting in the lobby area, or even sitting by the pool, wouldn't cause much harm. But getting in the pool or using the gym or something like that, you should ask permission.
Right.
I think that's fair enough to ask.
Yeah.
And that not only for hotels, but similar situations or anywhere you go.
Right.
I mean, many people use your common sense and figure it out. Yeah,
respect. Right. Many people would harken back to the days of Royal Palms and Coral Cayman and Holiday Inn in particular, where allegedly, it was accepted, expected, encouraged for that interaction. You went there and you spent the day there and you splashed in the pool, and like from what I recall or remember people sharing. All right. So we look at today's market, and this is where increasingly, and I want to engage you further because of the time and whichever, but I want to share this with you. One listener writes, this is why a lot of Caymanians go overseas on vacations because here on island we do not have many entertainment options, especially for the children. All right. Now there are probably other reasons as well, but if you think of what I said just prior to destinations in the Caribbean and perhaps other places, but since we're in the Caribbean, competing with Caribbean destinations as well, they have these, what they call, all-inclusives. And you go through a gate, you go in the compound, you don't leave that, probably for safety reasons. Maybe it's better financially for the property to keep you, confined to their environs and the like.
If one wants to visit an all-inclusive resort, then so be it. That's their choice. They know what they're getting into. They're not going to have it all-inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but it's also too maybe the mindset of many, not just many who come.
Yeah, sorry to cut you, but some people might have the what's the word called? Let's say. Anyway, let's say the personality.
Yes.
They don't want anyone around them. They want it all inclusive. They want to be quiet.
Money can't buy class.
In a quiet area. They don't want to see any traffic. They just want to go from the hotel to the resort and then.
Yeah. There's much I would engage. That's it. Yeah. How would you define local? When you say locals, how would you define that?
A Caymanian person.
Okay, so what about somebody
born and bred in Cayman and lived in Cayman all their life?
Okay, so what about somebody
to me, that's a local person because there are many people who are just passing through, working respectively. No disrespect to them, they're doing an honest job.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, because some of them are not. I mean,
hopefully,
yeah, and some of them are not competent.
To me, they're not local.
But why not? Why
to
not?
be honest with you, they're not local.
Yeah, but hang on.
They're not.
Somebody who's here
for part time.
Okay. And there's a reason why I'm asking, but I won't. I'm doing it deliberately to see if people are willing to step up to the plate and be courageous to sharing what they're thinking, right? But anything else you want to share? I don't want to impose on your time too much.
Okay, just a little. One thing I want to say on the same topic. I know tourism is one of the main drive that for the Cayman economy, brings income into the islands, but I believe it's risky to completely depend on tourism as a tourist, as a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I should even stop calling them tourists because they're visitors visiting. They're not tourists.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, man. I hear you.
They don't like I'm trying to get to is that they don't have to come. What happened one day, something like a world war broke out or something, and tourists cannot travel, visitors cannot travel to the island.
Yep.
So what are we going to do? We should always not put all our eggs in the basket when it comes to tourism.
Yeah.
That's something to think about in during in the long run. What would happen?
Yeah, man.
So to me, this thing we call tourism is just like a chance. It's a chance we're taking because the cruise ships doesn't have to pull out. The visitors don't have to come to the airline, and so they can stay back home and relax. There are lots of great things to do over here in Europe. It's very exciting. They don't have to come all the way to the Cayman Islands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you are
so
right.
I think
you are right. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you are right. I like your thoughts, and you make some points that I want to maybe deliberately encourage some people to comment on. I'll say it after you finish, so I don't take away from you. I'm listening to you. Anything else you want to say?
One final thing. Do I have enough time?
Of course, man. You were giving us your time. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Yeah, man.
All right. One final thing. I worked as a bellman, right?
Okay.
And I used to at a hotel and in Cayman, sorry. And when I first started out in the job, I didn't know much about the industry. But when I first started out, people used to hand me tips. And I used to like, no, that's fine. I did, that's so I realized that tipping is a thing. But me personally, I don't like. I'm in the mindset that you go to work, you get paid from your employer, and that's it. To me, I find tipping a little bit I'd say the word degrading, or I don't know, belittling. Something about it I just don't like. I don't like the whole history of tipping and how I even went online and looked at the history of tipping and said, no wonder I don't like it. So the whole tipping, pushing money into your hand is just something I was never comfortable with. I like to give good service and get paid from an employer. That's just me.
Yeah, man.
That was it.
Yeah. Some people,
so,
some people are
something I don't
offended.
like about
Yeah, man. Thank you. All right. And call. Enjoy the sunshine while you can.
While I can, yeah.
Yeah. Take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you. All right, goodbye.
Okay, man. Thanks for your time. And as the fellow shared, please call and talk. I remember I asked the question, what is that thing that you think is most important to a democracy? Of course, you probably have, it might be this, or this, and they probably all are. And you mightn't be able to decide, which is most important. Or you might have, nope, it's that one thing. Well, if you want to share, let us know. I'm personally just interested for my own benefit, my own edification, my own, sort of knowledge. And on what the gentleman shared and a few things that I did, it's intended to, encourage participation in conversation, inspired, motivated by Mr. Orritt's, comments oftentimes, the way he presents his show. Like I said, I would invite you to go back to listen to all of them. Go back this morning if you missed it. Maybe you missed a piece. Captain Peter's call, as always, is always illuminating. And the ability, the willingness for people to participate. If you have time, you don't need to live in a West Bay community. A public forum has been created. The Chapel Church of God has allowed the use of their hall. 7 to 9 p.m. this evening. Citizens come together. Mr. Ebanks will facilitate the discussion, drawing from his experience and his expertise with the support of many to put together, what is shared in a format that can now be sent, to the planning department for consideration by the policymakers on the planning statement. Hey, if we don't participate, if we don't make our voices known, well, what happens then? Hey, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can call 1-800-534-8255. If you can't get through and you call any of the other lines, let us know that as well. You can WhatsApp call 925-3261 if you wish. To the gentleman that just called earlier, in addition to the question that if you're listening, if you're willing to ask yourselves, give some thought and an answer for us, what is that one thing that is probably most important, to the health and strength of democracy? You might want to say, well, what are some of the things? However you wish to phrase it. You don't need to prioritize, but if you can, great. You don't need to rank them. Hey, that's fine. You may say, well, it's this, this, or this. Go right ahead. Let us know. But to his point, he said, well, should the facilities, as he's experienced, he moves about in the UK, and, in his mind, there's no distinction between him and other people. The facilities are there, the places or attraction are there, similar, there's no difference in price. Should that be, is it best how we have it here? Well, let's take this call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today, man? How are you?
All right, man. Good afternoon, sir.
And to you, a wonderful day, man. Just the best of the best has to offer, so that the Most High gives you favor and blessings, my friend.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Maybe if you open up the door, right, let some of that AC out, cool us off, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a blessing.
I tell you, man.
So when you say what is a democracy, you know what democracy is? A democracy is when you have, an equal amount of justice between the lower classes and the higher classes. Or whether you have a class or no class. The same amount, if you spit on the floor, or if you throw your chewing gum on the floor and it's $100 for me, a poor person, and it's $5 for you, a rich person, that's not equal.
So what if it's the other way around? The person that is presumably rich, we're talking financial, I guess, materially, that person pays more for the same offense than the person who isn't as economically, positioned to do so. Would that be democracy?
No.
Okay.
That's still not. I talking if the chewing gum on the floor is $20.
No matter who?
No matter who.
Okay.
If I slap you, I get 10 years. If you slap me, you get 10 years.
Okay. Unless I use two hands, I may get 20.
Not about if you LGB or if you from somewhere else or anything like that there.
Okay.
And you can see that don't go on here. You can see that. Me not bring up no names, but I'll tell you something. I don't believe nothing about that coverage. If everybody else believe that and don't believe what's happening, okay.
All
right. So I know everybody can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when it comes to being a local, if I get a check from somewhere, right, I gotta go and open up an account with the bank that the person or whoever gave me the check. I must have some kind of account or something like that. Plus, if I using my card or something like that through the bank, this is some of the costs of being a real local here. When you work for your money, somebody can take money from your hard work and don't give you no reasoning other than, it's a fee. But if I rich now, no problem, sir. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
But is it that the wealth, whether that's money or knowledge or access or all those things, is it that because of that thing that you have, right, we used to call it wealth, gives you a certain level of leverage, gives you confidence, access, that when you go to the bank, you say, hey, I want to borrow some money. What's the rate? The bank says this. You say, well, no. You negotiate. Maybe you negotiate more favorable terms on your fees because you put more. Could that be part of the issue?
It could be, but it's not reliable because one day my money can go poof.
Yeah.
Right? Or me, I can go poof. You understand? I can drop down and walk. That's the main thing what's going on here. And being a local or being call a local here and then have somebody come in here from nowhere and just buy your starters. Didn't go through what we go through and then come out to say, we got more rights than the locals.
Yeah, but that's on us the voter, for allowing it to happen with the protest, us the politician and the policy maker, us the person who is either employed or deployed to enforce that or to facilitate that. I mean, if someone comes in and they say they can buy something and you're willing to sell it to them, I mean, how do you do that? There's no aggression, there's no coercion, there's no, anything illegal or improper. The person says, name your price, and they give it to you, and you can use that money, that currency, that thing that they gave you, and you're happy with it.
Yeah. No, hold on. If you got somebody with and without a taxi on the taxi sign on the van or whatever, right? You without the taxi sign, tell them, say, yo, we'll carry you down the road for cheaper than any one of the things like that. But you, the customer, because you see no signs or no branding on my taxi or anything on my taxi, you choose the higher one. Just because you think it's safer or you think you're going to get treated different because of this having a brand and having a name to live up to, or
right.
You
But
understand?
Okay, so let me challenge that for a second. Ask you, right? Please. So you got two. I'll make sure I understand. You got two vehicles. They're identical in every way, except one is, as you said, called a taxi. It has a taxi sign. It has a number, taxi license number, whichever. All right. The other one is the same, except it doesn't have any of that. The customer comes up and looks at one and says $5. The other one says nope, it's $10. But the one that says it's $10 from here to there, same destination, is presumed to be licensed, has all of the legal authority and all the things. If the customer chooses to go with a more expensive one, is that a bad thing? Is the customer sort of inference and ability to maybe assume that if there's an issue, liability, legality, there is some authority that the person can go to get redress, as opposed to this entity that, boy, it don't look like it's legit. I mean, shouldn't the person who is legit be protected from this person who can just come and hustle on the side and get a lower fare? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I understand you, the freedom of choice, right? I understand you, but the main thing is that when you got the people out there that is hunting for, the ones that are, don't have that, what you say, the branding or the...
Yeah, but it's not just...
Or whatever like that.
Right.
When you make things possible or make things in a way that person can't even get to choose in between the $5 or the $10, that's no way we have the problem, and you know that.
No, that's different, right? But I mean, I see where potential could be conflicting a couple of things, right? But if the person who isn't licensed, there are no markings on that vehicle, all right? Mm-hmm. And that person can come in and set up shop, run the taxi, be a contractor, open up a quote unquote mobile restaurant out of the car trunk or the back seat or whichever, right? Mm-hmm. If a society allows that to happen, is that capitalism, or is it a laissez-faire approach? Is that good for society, or is that putting everyone at risk? And then the person who follows the bureaucracy, jumps through the hoops, and I'll come back to that in a second, should be afforded a level of protection. The consumer should be given a sense of assurance that if this licensed regulated entity is doing this thing, there's probably a reasonable expectation that the thing has a certain standard, as opposed to this other entity, no markings, like you say with the taxi, just a guy hustling, trying to be as colloquial as possible. I mean, which one, would you want in your society? What do you want your society to do in those two instances? Sanction and punish the person for being, sort of offending the legislation and expectation, and having that level of enforcement if it so happens?
Well, yes, I understand. Yes. But the meaning of capitalism is what?
You tell me.
It's like if I got a rock and somebody want to buy the rock, I can sell the rock.
Right, and if you cut that, so you just quarry that rock, out of it, and you say, boy, I can sell it whole, but I can chip it into 4 pieces, right? I got 2 things. I may get more for the 4 because people might be able to afford, each individual smaller piece as opposed to one big piece, right? Same with your 1 acre land as opposed to, sell it as is or 4. But that's different though, right?
I understand that. I understand that dealing with human lives and dealing with human transportation and all that understandable is what you call it, a liability.
Right.
But when you're coming out to say, it's a capitalism, I gonna make money on both ends. So if this person pay the tax, pay the license fee for the taxi and all that, and then this person don't pay the taxi fee and all that, and I can still arrest them and then charge them a fine. You understand, for not having that. That is a big part of hardcore capitalism right there.
Right.
That's what we're talking about, is they're trying to eliminate that we can't have this type of thing.
Right. So you want to encourage competition, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. But let me then ask then, because what you share, if the bureaucracy, the legislation, the government regulations, the government sort of approval system, whatever that is, right? If that is such that anybody can apply and the criteria for being granted approval is very clearly laid out. You need to have 1, 2, and 3, and you have those, and it doesn't matter, who you are. If you're applying for, say, a license to, you could be selling brown rocks on Mondays. The license fee is $5. You got to make sure you got brown rocks. They're coming from, the green grass, and they're sold on Mondays, and you got to be 18 or older. If everybody has the same sort of criteria to satisfy, and it's the same, that's fine, right?
Yeah, and that was what you be calling now. You just explained in some of the aspects of being in a democracy.
Right.
A capitalist democracy or something like that, I believe the way it's called.
Yeah,
right?
But go ahead. Sorry.
But when it comes down to looking at who is who, and then when we referring to they, who is really they that we're talking about? You understand? When you come down to the tourist lives and the local lives, you can understand everybody jumps towards the tourist lives, like what we say when the shooting on West Bay. Can you imagine if that happened to a tourist? What do you mean? What do you mean? I do not understand. So that's the part in democracy now that we're missing. We're missing in that this capitalist democracy. Excuse me, my words, it might be not be wordy.
No, that's fine. We should follow what you're saying. Go ahead, man.
But when we come down to that type of thinking, it's like no. You better don't think about the next person or the next local in aspect of what you're saying. When they say, why should I have to pay for them?
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you paying for? You're not paying for anything. You're not doing anything other than an investment you're doing, kind of thing.
Right.
And as I to them, they're thinking that they're paying. I living off of them. What do you call moochers? You understand?
Yeah. But it's interesting, your last point. I won't, take you any longer. We'll take the break and we'll take the next call. But you are right in questioning why we would allow. Take government of maybe 2 or 3 administrations ago that sponsored legislation that said if a particular act is committed in the quote-unquote tourist areas, and they identified certain areas, then if you did that there, your punishment, your penalty, your fine would be higher than if you did the same act in another part of the country. And for me, maybe the intent was okay, but it's to your point. Why is someone hitting somebody in area A more important, more offensive than the same act happening in area B?
Right.
And I don't like that. And if we're going to, if I just take a second more, if we're going to say to your point, hey, listen, if we keep the country safe, it's going to be safe for everybody. If we keep the country clean so there's no littering, we're going to enforce the fines, we're going to discourage that behavior. It's going to be good for everybody. And then to the caller before you, when the gentleman said maybe our quote-unquote tourist attractions should be attractions that we all are encouraged to go to for two reasons. Makes it better for the economy, but it makes it also for us who are here aware of it, appreciative of it, knowledgeable. So when we talk to people who are visiting, we could say, hey, you know, you want to know where to go, or you want to know about this place, they can give you a first-hand account. And when you go there, you're given top quality service, you're given value for money, and you're treated as a paying, you know, sort of visitor to that space. Doesn't matter the color of your skin, with the stamp on your passport, visitor or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
I understand all that. I wish it was like that.
So let's make it like that.
I know, but we have people that are in power that have manipulated and made it this way for over the last 30, 40 years, you understand?
Yeah, man.
And they deliberately target us when we talking about who is what, you understand?
Yeah, man.
We can't live like that on this little island. You have to have some form of unity, and if you got one set of people having more power than the next, and there's no need for that calling a democracy. There's nothing calling it a democracy.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Listen.
So I'm sorry I offend anybody, but boy, I'm telling you is that when it come down to us living for us, we can't go and jump to whoever they call they or them and ask them to help us.
It's all us, right?
It's all having to do with us.
Yeah, man. We should be united. Yeah, man. Thank you, man. All right?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Dwayne.
Listen, enjoy your afternoon and get the last of the mangas. Take it easy, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Respectfully, the caller just join us on the WhatsApp. Hang on, if you can. We'll join you right after.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Radio Cayman News.
Not guilty verdicts in the rape and indecent assault trial of the Honourable Makifah Bush.
Mr. Bush says his fight is not yet over.
Because I intend to bring a motion asking for a commission of inquiry against the DPP.
There is a real failing on the part of the DPP.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. It is open line, and we have a caller on the WhatsApp. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Buenas tardes, señora. How are you?
We're doing good enough.
All right. Thank you for holding on as well.
Hot.
Right? Yeah, it's just July, my friend. What gonna happen in September?
Yeah. You know, I when I sit down out here enjoying the sun, right? I hear sitting down thinking about the climate crisis, and I say, you know, if we ever had to do a test worldwide and see who is the most resilient in the world, I'd say Cayman is one of them. You know?
There is certainly something about us. There's a resolve, and there's a resilience. There's also a semblance of, how do I put it? Almost, similar reluctance on our part to respect ourselves and who we are, right? And as a result, we not only allow, our people in the country to be devalued, but we undervalue, what we are and who we are and what we have and the like. And as I think about it, increasingly I probably can point to many things that could be the reasons for it. But at the end of the day, I don't want people to be arrogant. I don't want them to be insolent. And if I would be permitted to use the word ignorant, ill-informed, unaware of things, right? Those are the three things that I think are, quite egregious. But you can be confident without being egotistical and arrogant. You can be very informed without being that knowledgeable about anything and everything. And the respect that you have is such that you're respectful, but you're also respectable, right? And I think often we are somehow forgetting, something that's so crucial. It is humility before honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that we understand that sometimes. We don't employ that in our personal lives. But again, it's just me. But you talk, and I'll be more than willing to listen and try my very best to understand.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Sterling, all I can say, right, is what I wanted to call about was I was listening to the topic, and I am really interested in it because trust me, you see the demographic of this whole entire island is changing drastically. It's changing drastically, and I've predicted this. I am surprised it hadn't started long time ago. But maybe it has started long time ago. It's just been a trickle down effect, and we're seeing it ever more evident. Than now it's coming in more rapid because there's already an establishment from decades ago.
Yeah, I want to. You say your thing, right? I want to maybe point to 3 or 4 messages from the little system we got here where people sending their thoughts, right? But I think going to tie into what you shared. But you continue your thoughts. Just remind me to paraphrase some of these, all right?
So what I was thinking, right? Because I watches a lot, try to devour as much documentaries as I can while I got spare time. And I said to myself, I wonder how much people do think about the future versus what they can get from the future, right? Because I suggest that this island should start learning how to generate money itself through the people instead of generating money through land, because I believe our queen of, she's passed away, queen, like she set some rules on for a reason, and I don't see the reason why we should tamper with those things when she did have a care for her island, and our island, I should say, because there's for example, the Galapagos Islands, right? You see, think about them. There's a fee to enter in the Galapagos Islands. It's what, $100, and when you go to the Galapagos Islands as a visitor, you're not a local, you're not a indigenous person there. You're coming there to visit, and you're only allowed 2 months maximum there at a time. And when you go there, you have to respect the laws of the land, and it is the most protected island in the world, I should say, because if one car comes in, one car has to go out, and the trash is no problem there. And then the locals there, it's at capacity. So there's no application forms that you can be granted to want to live there because it's a beautiful country. That's their country, not yours, like how Captain Cook would have said it, like they seem to want us gone. Not to stay, but they just seem to want us gone.
But as I listen to you, let me get it from you, and then you ask after that. So Galapagos charges a fee. Is in Venice likewise doing something similar? Now theirs, from what I read, a little bit different in that they pick in certain times, presumably, to charge this tourist fee. Was it $5 or something, €5, whatever? Presumably to encourage other off-peak times, so more people come in those times and maybe either make more money doing the higher, or perhaps even discourage larger numbers when it's the sort of higher volumes at those particular times. They seem to know their numbers as to who comes when and where. So whatever the motivation and justification, maybe they understand in basic economics, right?
Well, yeah, another thing about that, right? What I see, we have a lot of neglection from our MPs when it comes into
a lot of neglect, huh?
treating. Yeah. And when I say that, I say it deliberately. Like, they neglect us as locals, as Caymanians, right? When we put them in a position to help hold responsibility for certain things that we need, right? Because say I am one person, and me as one person know 100 people, and that 100 people know one person. That's you do the maths, right? And those people, they collectively work together, make money, and when their money is being hindered because of one representative that is supposed to be held responsible to make sure things are at pace where it is supposed to be. Like let me give an example. Docks in the Cayman Island. It's apparently in the Cayman Islands they need permission to build docks, right? But if the dock has existed already and has been existing for years, decades, let's just say, and nothing has been done after they've been destroyed by a hurricane, like the one up in Morgan's Harbor. What a sight for sore eyes! And then we have our minister, who it is, our Minister J, that is in charge of that thing.
Right, but
right.
A couple of things though. Well, finish your thought, because maybe.
Right, and what happened is, why I put that point in there is because there's a lot of elders or boatmen, seamen that need that dock, and they are not. They don't have another choice other than the yacht club, and that's who owns that. Right. And what happened about the locals? What happened about the people that can't afford it? What happened to the people that actually have a boat already at the yacht club and they have their personal boat at the dock in West Bay? What about those people?
Right.
Like, you have to dry dock a boat because you can't have it launched in West Bay because there's no dock.
Yeah, but also too, I mean, that dock up in the Sound, right? They talk about. My understanding that wasn't this passing weather to destroy that. That's been in disrepair for an extended period of time now, right?
Yeah, that's the neglectful part.
Right, and I've had a number of people, some of whom have said, "Hey, just call the talk show because what you're saying, maybe hearing it from another voice might resonate more loudly," right? there's been a reluctance or refusal or reticence. Right. But some have alleged, well, is it in disrepair for an extended period of time because, the restaurants in the area trying to discourage it? Is it prioritizing the government funds? And with that, is it appropriate? Is it fair, reasonable? Is it something that we should even expect? That you mentioned Minister J, for instance. Yes, that seemed to fall under his ministry's portfolios and the thing that comes under him constitutionally. But is it for that politician, whoever that is, to have sort of the responsibility, the authority to be accountable for those things? Shouldn't that find its way down the chain so that the dock repair and maintenance and construction unit, it's not what it's called, but should there be something where that thing is done, and that level of A, micromanaging from the politician, or B, us as the public, the voters, expectation that the politician should be doing that? I know that some must like that. Oh yeah, gonna make that politician pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I find funny, because if let's just say we had a very considerate local in West Bay that decides he wants to build it, and a group of them decides they want to build it, and they did it, would they do the same thing like they did up in East End?
Which is what, for those who don't know?
Which is they built that lock up and they tore it back down because they never got planning approval or whatever it is.
Okay, so when you say they built it, you mean in the budget?
And it was necessary.
Right. The group, right, the group of people in the community got together with their resources, and the community built it, right? And then when you say they tore it down, who are they that you're referring to?
Nor government. So, just because they never built it.
So through the planning apparatus, they issued a requisite notice that says this was built illegally. We got to take it down. That's what you're alleging, right?
I guess so. If you want to call it that, I think that we should have the right to accommodate ourselves if we have the choice, if we can do it.
I hear you.
If we're able-bodied, we should do something about it. But then there's the able-bodied people that they just sit on their butts and don't do anything.
Right. Instead of waiting for government.
Sit down and wait for the uprising or something. I don't know what it is that they're waiting for. But if they want to see something like that, I don't think we should.
Yeah. So you're saying then, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that if there are a group of citizens under their sort of own ambition and volition, and they're recognizing the importance of it, their mindset and ethos is that we don't wait for government, we get things done, and they go to do it. There should be a way to facilitate and encourage that. So what if then, as some have alleged, you have this application for planning permission after the fact, somebody clears property, for instance. Let's just use that as an example. And there's supposed to be an application to clear the property and a fee, whatever it is. The person, does this thing. What's your view? Should that be allowed? That after the fact application? Should there be a fine and punishment as opposed to a fee? What's your thought?
Well, I don't have too much to say about that.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair.
They done already know who they can go to when they need to get something done. Mm-hmm. It's just they're waiting for someone to tell them what to do. And I don't understand, how is there a place in the world that you just wait till the people tell you what you can and cannot do? I don't understand, how is there a place in the world that exists that way when we know exactly? We don't need to be spoon-fed here in Cayman, as far as I know. It's just the fact that we just sit down here and expect someone to tell us what we're going to do tomorrow, what we're going to do today, at least what we should do right now.
Right. But to your point, right? Yeah. Two things immediately jump out to your point. One, there are people who subscribe to the notion better to ask forgiveness than permission. So they go do the thing, right? But secondly, are we at risk of becoming a society where we wait for government, and just so that is not missed, specifically we wait for the elected politician now to come give us this thing, money, food, hold our hand, buy the plywood, deliver the plywood, and then put it up. Are we, like you just shared, are we now are people who no longer do for ourselves. We now wait for them, i.e. the politician, to come do it.
We're no longer left to do anything for ourselves. We're no longer allowed to do anything for ourselves.
Oh, okay, allowed.
That's how I see it. We're no longer allowed to do anything ourselves because it's already proven and they've already showed us already how it is that it's done. And if they're not doing it, no one is doing it.
So
and I don't understand why is that though. That's a real troublesome thing to think about because like if you say now if you wanna build something in your backyard and you know that this is your personal property, this is not something for business, it's not gonna be a competition, but it's for your own well-being because you think that you have somebody to have it in high demand. You got say a shed. You want to build a shed to keep your storage tools, but then yet they have other companies that have to pay rent for a warehouse, and you feel that person have to pay rent too and keep their tools in their little warehouses too. That it shouldn't be that way. I was thinking about the same thing, the same example that the last caller was talking about with the taxi drivers and things. If I have a car, right, and I feel like okay, I think I can do taxi. If I don't take the initiative to go and get a business license, open that up and put my own stamp on there, I can't expect to make money if nobody know who I am. Well,
not even that. Should a person be allowed to do that? And
no.
Okay, listen, we got a news.
Not unless you're doing it personally for people that you know already. You shouldn't need to have to make a business license for that if you're doing it within yourself. You're making money, yeah, but you're not advertising it making money or anything like this.
I don't know.
Going out there competitioning with the big leagues or with the people that actually got their work permit. I mean, they're
No, but I don't know. Sure, that's good for society. If you are doing something in return for some reward, maybe there should be a process by which you should go through in order to be approved to do that. Listen, we got the news to take. We chat with you later. All right. Join us after the news.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet because this year I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments July 22nd to the 25th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com. That's drportercayman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
Cayman Islands, your input can shape our future. Plan Cayman needs your input on the updated planning statement to create a sustainable community for everyone. Help shape Cayman's future by participating in public consultations with the Central Planning Authority and the Ministries for Planning and Sustainability. Together, we can build a thriving Cayman. For details and to find the meeting closest to you, visit plancayman.ky. Your voice matters. Let's plan Cayman together.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. One of Cayman's largest youth football programs has achieved record success competing in this year's Target USA Cup held in Minnesota. Academy Sports Club returned from its week-long competition at one of the largest youth football tournaments in the world with 1 gold and 2 runners-up trophies. In international news, U.S. President Joe Biden on Sunday announced he would end his re-election campaign endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him as the party's nominee for the 2024 race. Ms. Harris is yet to be officially nominated, and she will need a running mate when Democratic Party delegates vote next month at a convention in Chicago to officially confirm who is on the ticket. Historically, vice presidents are picked to complement a candidate, and strategists believe for that reason she may pick a white man from a swing state. At least 6 people have been killed after a gunman opened fire in a care home in Croatia, sparking calls for stricter gun control in the Balkan country. 5 people, including an employee, were killed in the home, while another person later died in hospital. Police said several people were also injured and 4 remain in critical condition. The suspect fled the scene after the attack and was later arrested at a cafe where he was found carrying unregistered firearms, according to Croatian media. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Cayman Islands, your opportunity to shape our future continues. Join us for public consultations on July 18th in East End at the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center, July 22nd in Cayman Brac, July 25th in Savannah Newlands at the Savannah United Church, and July 29th in Northside at the Northside Civic Center. Don't forget our virtual session on July 18th on CIG Facebook and YouTube Live. All consultations will be broadcast live on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and online at radiocayman.gov.ky. Submit your questions via slido.com. Let's work together for a sustainable future. For more details, visit plancayman.ky. Be part of the change.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Jay and Money presents the official Jamaica Independence celebrations on Friday, August 2nd at the Lion Center. Featuring from Jamaica, the Colonel, Josie Wales, Richie Stevens, and comedian Blacka Ellis. Kids Talent Contest, Best Dress Contest, lots of prizes and giveaways. Music by Joshy Vibes and B Styles, your MC, Lady T. Health fair from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. where you can get your PSA, diabetes, and blood pressure checked for free. Don't miss Josie Wales, Richie Stevens, and Blacka Ellis on Friday, August 2nd at the Lion Center. Admission is absolutely free. Sponsored by Best Dressed Chicken, Popeyes, Ministry of Border Control, Labor and Culture, Kmart Hair and Beauty Supply, Ministry of Health and Wellness, Cost You Less, iCool, Animal House, Ministry of Tourism and Transport, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. Got a couple of calls. We're going to take them, and I'm told we're taking all the commercial breaks. So let's take the first regular call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Dwayne.
And to you, sir. Thank you for calling. How are you today?
Yeah, just fine.
Okay.
I was just listening to some of the things that were saying by callers and so forth.
Yes, sir.
I understand why they say certain things and why we arrive at certain conclusions and so forth. And you're speaking about what is democracy. It's mainly, really, the main thing is the ability to choose, have the ability to choose your leaders and who are going to be leading your country as politicians and so forth. The ability to have a vote to do that. The common, ordinary citizen can vote for them. That's the main and most important point. And from then flows the rest. The ability to make choices about schooling, etc., etc., etc. If you notice, many of the Arab countries, they don't allow women to vote, women to have a say, women to teach in schools, and women even to have a driver's license and stuff. That's the type of thing that qualify as non-democratic. And their elections are really a sham. It's already planned and known. And in the communist countries, it's pretty much the same thing, as we all know. So then we try to put capitalism against communism and so forth. And, you know, that's a very thin line there, because there are many communists that are very, very rich. They are allowed to be rich because they're faithful to their and stalwarts to their communist leaders. So they're allowed to live a capitalistic life in a non-democratic country, so to speak. And we know that, and that's the way it is. And even in the terrorist countries like Iran and so forth and others, there are many others. I would recognize North Korea as a terrorist country, and Pakistan borders on it, really. But I don't care. I say what I say. I have reason to believe that. But anyhow, but they have elections. They're democratic Pakistanis and so forth. But we have to understand, ministerial responsibilities are something that's delegated by the premier, and whenever elections are won and new government formed, etc., and so forth. And I've never really fully understood how we arrive at delegating some of the ministries and so forth. But that's the way it is, and we have to accept it. When you're talking about if a person was charged with a fine for littering or whatever it was you were saying, and the poorer person would pay, say, $5 and the richer person pay $25 or $50, there's nothing undemocratic about that. It's according to your wealth, you're paying what you can afford. So it's a percentage thing.
I think what it called
actually paying less.
Yeah, what a caller was.
The richer person.
Yeah, to the caller's point, what he was saying is that fair is fair, and if you put chewing gum on the floor was his example, for instance, then it should be a fine, and it should be the same amount for everybody, no matter what. If it's $5,
No, I don't believe in that. No, that's nothing undemocratic about that. It's $5 to a person earning $6 an hour is a lot more when you think about it than $25 to a person who is earning $1,000 an hour. So forth.
But democracy and what we consider equitable, all right? I mean, you're talking about sort of progressive taxation. How do you distinguish?
No. That is just he said fairness or equitable.
But
fairness is a percentage.
Yeah,
if I'm paying a percentage to a fine, and the other person is paying a percentage to a fine, well, that's fairness.
Okay.
But they may have to pay a higher percentage to make it equitable. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Yes, sir.
5%, you maybe put it as a percentage instead, and so it would work out to more. They would pay more if you put it as a percentage.
Right. So 10% of 100 is less than 10% of 1,000.
Yeah. Right. So this is the whole point.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I'm making. If you're talking about equitability and so forth, that's really. Democracy allows certain things. It allows you to, when we had our first elections, one of the first 4 laws passed was that every man from the age of 16 to 60 had to bear arms. You had to bear arms, and you had to have a gun. If you didn't have a gun, you had to have a affidavit signed by a member of the House, whether it was the upper house, which would be the appointed, the judges, or the lower house elected, signed and that you didn't have the money to have a gun, the government would provide you with a gun. I'm just saying, but that was democratic, right?
Right.
If you had to bear arms.
Let me then ask, right?
No, that's not right. That shouldn't be, but that's how it was.
Let me ask. I don't want to take too much more of your time, and I want to get to the other calls.
You're not taking mine, I'm taking yours.
No, thank you. Let me ask, though, is it democratic to have an appointed political body? It makes laws. It's not elected. It's appointed. Is that democratic to your mind?
That was how the system was. The first government here were appointed
yes, sir.
magistrates,
yes,
appointed for life. They were appointed by the British governor in Jamaica, which was a British government appointee, and he was their voice. It was up until 1962. And the voice here also, he had control over the British government here.
So, 110 years prior to that, we sort of acted with a greater degree of autonomy. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but that was how it was, and that continued way into the. There were judges at the House, and then there were the elected representatives.
Yeah.
Also, way up there until 1959 or so. But
right.
That is a system. But we had elections, and we had those people, and we abided by it, and it went that way. And they both had a voice, and so forth. In the old days, up until 1898, before we started appointing the British government, appointing a British governor, they're called commissioners at first. It's the same thing. Here's semantics. In 1890, it's said in Sanguinetti. Well, we were under a self-rule, self-governed kind of system, because the both houses that we had, the elected and appointed, passed all the laws and put them into effect themselves. We can't do that now. We know that. They put them into effect themselves. The Chief Justice, he was given the title Custos. He would sign the laws into place by the both houses, which was debated by both of them, and then passed by both of them, signed into effect by him, the Chief Justice. The last one, I think, was Reginald Parsons. But that's sort of beside the point. But we call it democracy, and it still goes that way. Yeah. Democracy, and you might have it two ways. You might have a republic like the United States where everybody is elected. Here we have appointed people, the appointed governor and so forth, and appointed persons in the civil service and so forth and so on. But it still works in a democratic way. You can remove them, you can have so forth. We can't remove the British governor here. That's up to the Great Britain and so forth, and even judges and things like that. We have limited power. There is still work to be done, and it will always be that way. And it's one thing you got to remember, Sterling Green.
Yes, sir.
We will never satisfy everybody. They may say so, and they may want to say so, but as long as we live and breathe, we will be dissatisfied.
Yes, sir.
Many of us, I've always maintained this, will be dissatisfied when we get to heaven. It won't be good enough for us if we get there. Understand me very carefully what I'm saying.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Have a wonderful day.
You're most welcome, sir. Thank you, too. And let's take these other calls. Thanks for your patience. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How you doing today, Starla?
Listen, today I'm doing better than yesterday. The prayers tomorrow will even being better than the day after. Greater. Hey, it's a good day, my friend. It's a good day.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks for the time, man. What's up?
Yeah, you were talking a little while ago about my favorite subject, capitalism, and Halston continued it there.
Yes, sir.
You know that you can't have a democracy and a capitalism society at the same time. I wonder if the people realize that.
Say that again.
And the capitalist society is fooling the people into thinking that they got a democracy, but they could never go hand in hand. Them two words contradict one another. Because capitalism itself mean competition, right? Fair or unfair, right? It just means competition in general, right? But let's just say if the competition in capitalism is fair, there's a sector that gonna be disadvantaged, right? They're gonna be the ones that don't win, right? Because you got winners and you got losers, right? In the game of capitalism, right? It's a competition. So the better ones gonna win.
A zero-sum game.
Those that aren't that good, gonna be the losers, right?
That's it, man.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So what about those that losing in the game then? Yeah, so who got protect them? The government now, and not a government job to protect them.
One would want to say
if
so,
the
right?
government, sorry.
No, I listened to you.
So if the government allows a company or corporations or a private sector or the 1% or whatever of people that got a power to bully the rest of society, and they're not, and government ain't responsible for it because they're letting these people self-govern themselves or whatever, then we're living in a communistic society. We're one step away from being a communism.
Yeah.
Or it's communism. It's just that it isn't called that.
Yeah. So
right?
I wonder.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. And to the other callers, hang on. We will get to you. The guy at the other end of the table likes this as much as some of us, so we're gonna have a conversation. But go ahead.
Take this for example. Now you say you gotta get a business license, right? So now suppose you go get a business license now, and the pension and the health insurance company is ripping you off, right? And government knows about it, but they don't do nothing about it, right? But it's law that you have a pension and you have a health insurance and you have a health insurance before you get a business license, right? So what I'm gonna tell you now, I don't know. I'm looking for somebody to explain that to me. Who's responsible for that? Is government cooperating or what you call it, complying with the sector that is doing?
Are they complicit?
Doing the ripping off? Yeah, complicit. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is ripping off the people through the insurance and through the pension.
Yeah. So a couple of things from what you shared, right? Are we one conflating political systems with economic systems, and in so doing, are we two accepting or somehow ensuring that the politicians, the policymakers, those who are elected as well as those who are appointed, their primary goal is to ensure that the people with wealth access, the capitalists, the influencers, whatever it is that we ascribe them as, right? To make sure that they can get their way, use word bullying, they can have their say, they can do it because they have their wherewithal, whether that's the money, whether that's the gun or the goal, right? And is that what is happening? So that as a democracy, when we see these things are happening, take your example, for instance, if, as you allege, if the politicians of the day through laws and policies and what have you allow a business to do a certain thing, right? And they can do it with impunity. It doesn't matter as long as they're making money. Who is hurt, harmed, whether their insurance policy is honored, whether the product they're selling is, of a good quality. If that is what's happening in society, what are we doing about it? What are we willing to do about it?
That's a good question. That's a good question. We need to put a stop to it, but then the people is confused, Sterling.
Right.
To tell you the truth, the people are confused.
Right.
The people, first of all, they're thinking that it not happening what is seen with their eyes. They think it not happening and it not possible.
Right.
Because they're living and then they're got a certain brainwash to a certain extent that they can't think outside the metrics.
Right.
Outside the matrix. In other words,
But
they could only think inside the system, and no, it can't be that way because there's the government supposed to protect us from all of this kind of thing. Yet they see it happening, and yet they're not doing anything. It's a days, and as long as there's an inflated population or a population without knowledge of these things, then the capitalists always gonna win. They're always gonna win the game because that's how the game is played. They keep bringing in these people that is uneducated into the system so that they could vote, and they don't know no better. Right. And what wins the election? The majority, right? So that's the same thing. If you bring in somebody from a poor country They're only worried about the money. They only worry about the money. They're not knowledge nothing else. How they don't look beyond the money and the whole system that is being played in society. They're only looking at the money. When it and give them papers and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to election that they could vote, they're gonna vote for this man. Boy, we gotta vote for this man because this man, this rich man keeping money on the table. He the one that beating us. But yet they don't know that they're in prison at the same time. It's a long conversation with playing the parts. With playing the parts to it. So just one little part of it that I'm showing you. Or showing the listening public.
Appreciate it. Before we take the call, two things that jump to mind as you shared out, and forgive me if I don't get it correct, but remember the little bit that we probably remember history or read or heard, that sort of perhaps may have been the impetus for the U.S.'s revolution. No taxation without representation, right? And then something that I think was Thomas Jefferson, not our Thomas Jefferson here, who was financial secretary and then tourism minister, but the Thomas Jefferson in the U.S. when he talked about when the government fears the people, that's liberty, but when the people fear the government, that's tyranny, right? So is that where we are in our society in not being?
Well, you see, that's being mixed up too. A republic is being mixed up with a democracy, and they're trying to blend it together to water it down. But the republic and democracy and capitalism system, they're all different things, and they could never coexist. They either got to be one system, or the system cannot they cannot work. So this is the same thing with immigration and stuff. With this multinationality people and all that kind of stuff. It could never work. It never worked with the Jews way back in them times, and it's not gonna work now.
Right.
Yeah, man. So it's a long conversation, but
I'll just start sometime, man. Always a pleasure, man. All the best to you, right?
All right. Okay, man. Cool.
Take care. Have a good week. Can we take another call? We could take another call, of course. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I couldn't understand whether I was on or off.
Okay, well, let me try this time. How are you feeling? Do you feel on or do you feel off?
I can hear what you're saying.
There you go, man. You on the air with us, man. Thanks, man.
Good. I guess my time is limited according to what the clock is saying.
No, man. Listen, God has granted you a health, a life, and an eternity in heaven. So let's make use of what is before us now. All right?
Yeah, thank you so much for your consideration as well.
Yes, sir.
But, shall I say, so many people get on the talk show and pass their opinion, which we are entitled to. I just want to share something with you in the listening public. This morning, there was something on a talk show about Donald Trump. I am so disillusioned, so discouraged at the people that literally hate Donald Trump for whatever reason. Some people don't have a reason to hate you, they just hate you. What the world is coming to, or has come to, when people in the United States make the remark that he doesn't even want a bullet, okay? That man's life is good as anybody else.
A life is a life, right?
Right. And now because it looks like he might be getting the upper hand, there is no end of scandal and mistruths and presumes about what he said. It is just unbelievable. And I might add again, you hear people talk about if it's sneeze in the United States, if someone sneezes, we get a cold down here. That is so obvious because the politics down there, we kind of and somehow are trending to follow them. Our politicians here and our politics, including the population, what are we doing? The gentleman talked a while ago about what the government is doing. or the elected officials doing. I am preaching to everyone, in order for us to get better representation, we, not them, we have to be a part of the action, right? Why are we not yet going into almost 4 years now since the government was elected? Nothing more has been said or done about a district council or anything else to have some say into your district or your island. It's all about these elected politicians. I would like to point out, in the District of West Bay, anyone can call in and tell me what has we accomplished in 3 years and in 6 months or going more than that time into the District of West Bay. A district the size of West Bay, indeed, it is high time, like yesterday, West Bay should have had our own high school. You got to be transporting these children forever into some other district with the differences they have and the traffic problems. Why? If they got money to spend, I understand maybe a $50 million high school in Cayman Brack and $8 million to construct the places where they're going to house the workers. We got 4 politicians in West Bay, and you mean none of them can really see the light that West Bay should have our own high school? Apart from that, tell them to call in and show me or tell me what West Bay has got in the last 8 years. What have we accomplished? We see buildings going on, but that's not for Caymanians. That is for the rich and famous who's putting down these monstrous things and covering all your sea coast. Nothing has been done, shall I say, to benefit the population of West Bay, okay? So, Sterling, I don't know what's going to happen, but boy, we got a long road to Jerusalem. That's what I say.
Well, what you're sharing may resonate with some, others may be more confused than ever. Any final thoughts you want to share before we close it out? Is there a final call, my friend? Oh.
Yes, certainly.
Yes, sir.
I wonder why the population in Cayman in general, they always anxious, excited to hear what you said and telling you what to say the next time you get on. But why are we so timid and bashful that we cannot open our mouth and say what we have to say? Doesn't mean that you have to make any allegations against anyone, but it's obvious. It's obvious that people are left behind. It's not good what's happening in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. Sterling, and have a pleasant day, sir.
Thank you for sharing your time with us. Do the well. All right, one final call. Thanks very much for calling. How are you?
Not bad. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you for taking time to share with us, man. Talk to us.
Today, there's a bill to amend the Firearms Act before the House, and that bill doesn't address the financial implications of the provisions of the bill, which means that the bill is in breach of Section 77.3 in Standing Order 45, which requires that that the financial implications be considered. No amount of explaining that to the people in the House is seeming to make any difference at all. What I find concerning about that is that they think that they could just do whatever they want to do without proper consultation.
They mean the elected parliamentarians?
Yes.
Or the government specifically?
Well, they all, each individually have the choice to support it or...
Okay. Yes, sir.
Or to speak up and say what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they live up to that obligation or not is up to each one.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a matter of good governance. If the bill doesn't satisfy Section 77 of the Constitution, that would mean that the bill is being presented to the House unconstitutionally. Which also means that the government would be breaching Section 19(1) of the Constitution, which requires all acts and decisions to be lawful.
Mm-hmm. Now, would that mean that on judicial review, or if someone for some reason brings something before the courts as a result of a charge under the amended legislation, could there be some implications as a result of this passage?
Well, the problem with taking it before the court is that the system is set up in such a way that you can't afford to go to court.
Okay. Not to confuse or even somehow muddy the waters, but I've had a couple of people ask, and I think it's just because we use words and we say, well, why not make it as clear? I think the legislation refers to the people as travelers, right? You know, they're coming into the country and the like. And two people very, very frequently have said, well, why don't we call them visitors? Or why is there a need to refer to people in a capacity other than, you legally possess a gun or whatever? I don't have enough to be able to say publicly about it. That would be anything. But does that help, hinder? Does that somehow confuse? Does it even matter?
No, I think that people should consider that the term traveler is inclusive of a visitor.
So
a visitor isn't necessarily inclusive of someone who is just a traveler but not visiting the island. In other words, if you pass through the country, however brief it is, you have to make a declaration with customs.
But then...
But your destination is not Cayman. So you're not really a visitor.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And I'm trying to recall a conversation because I was a bit uncertain as to what was being said, and the person did share about. And one of the things that will take away, the question was, someone comes into the country and has ammunition, which now has been, or has a weapon, a gun, and the definition has been extended now to include all sorts of things, including a bullet or ammunition or whatever it's called. Does that mean that if they're passing through, it's okay, but if they're going to be living here, or if they live here, then there's a greater chance that they'll be perceived as committing a criminal act? It seems to have been some confusion as to some people. Yeah.
Well, I'm not quite clear on what you're asking.
Yeah. Well, I probably wasn't as clear in understanding, and the only takeaway was that the person was indicating that if you come into the country and you have a gun or weapon or bullet or whatever, should it matter who you are? If it's illegal, if it hasn't been declared, there should be a sanction as opposed to...
Well, if it isn't declared, that is a criminal offense.
Right. And should you not have permission to bring it in, whether or not you are...
Well, you know how, for example, when you have stuff in a bonded warehouse?
I do understand a little bit of that.
You're not really importing it until...
It's released from the bonded warehouse. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so customs, and for the purposes of the Firearms Act, is a custodian. So if someone travels to the Cayman Islands and they have a firearm, the law very clearly specifies how you're supposed to declare that in the customs declaration form, hand it over to customs saying, look, I'm not importing this at the moment. And the law very clearly articulates that you can go away, get an import permit, get a license, and come back to customs with the license and get the firearm.
Okay. So let me maybe make sure
That's why when the guy went to court, the court said, well, you didn't do anything wrong.
Right. Back to your example with the bonded warehouse. As I understand, right, you set up a system, you pay or have a letter of credit, you have some means to ensure that the process, and there's a process that you go through, you put a deposit, there is some way to sort of pay if anything is moved from their warehouse. They do this, they should
But
be.
you don't need to do that in the case of a firearm.
Right. So once those goods in that bonded warehouse stay there, they're not imported until they're removed from the warehouse, right? And then you pay your duties on it.
The only reason for making an analogy with that is like customs is a custodian of the firearm
Fair
until
enough.
you go and actually import it.
Right. But if somebody, so in the case of the firearm, the person comes in and says to customs, I'm entering the country. Is it my understanding that they must declare on a prescribed form the guns, the bullets, the weapons, the stuff that they have? They declare it, give it to customs. Customs takes it as the custodian, puts it in safekeeping, holds it there. Then when the person leaves, they get it and they take it with them. Is that how it's supposed to work?
That's how it works. Like, say, if you come in on an aircraft or on a ship, and you don't want to keep them on board the vessel.
Right.
Let's say the vessel is too small or whatever the reason.
For whatever the reasons, okay.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Right. And in that time that you are here, whether you're here for a day or a month or a year, customs keeps it. You don't have access to it until you're leaving, and they give it to you, right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's say a person who lives here, legally is here, comes in legally and says, I just brought in, the same weapons, and now wants to, fill out this form. Customs takes it and they want to apply for a permit after the fact. They've come to the shores, they have right off the bat told customs about it, fills out a form. 2 questions. Has that person who lives here, has that person committed any offense?
If they declared it on the prescribed form?
Yeah, straight up, right away. They're not trying to hide, cheat, steal, lie, or deny. Right?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not an offense.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of when something like that would have been used.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you go away and you're a seaman, and you want to bring back a firearm with you. You wouldn't come back to Cayman and then go back and get the firearm and then come back with it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
That wasn't practical.
Right.
And all right. Or let's use a modern day example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you go somewhere and you walk in a store and they put up a sign that say, if you buy one of these today, we'll give you 50% off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have to buy it today. You can't wait for the commissioner of police to give you an import permit.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to get the 50% sale.
Right. I get that, but that's why I wanted to make sure that we understand, right? So the person has done, this is today, right? The person is now come back to the country today. The person lives here.
Yeah.
Whether they got Caymanian status, whether they're Caymanian by generation, they on a work permit, whatever. The person is legal here. They're living here. They're not a visitor, right? They're not a traveler, whatever the term is. They live here. And as they come in, they say to the customs people on entry, listen, in that suitcase though, and let's say they even gone to absolute length to secure this suitcase in such a way, whichever, right? So there's no question that they're doing anything to harm anybody, right? Let's just take away any possible variable of anything nefarious. And they say to the customs people, we have it, we haven't, they fill out the form, but we will intend to apply for a permit, is that what it's called? A gun permit, right?
And
they want to own this gun. Is that allowable? Is that the way the system works today? I heard what you said about the seafarers of yesterday.
It is allowable, but one thing that you'd run into is depends on where you're coming from. You have the rules that exist in the other jurisdiction
about export.
A lot of the airlines. Let's just say you're getting on a commercial airline. Usually, what the airline will say to you is that they want to see a license or an import permit. That's where you'll get in a.
But fair enough. But let's say,
legally,
yeah,
that's not what they're supposed to be doing. But we know how governments and businesses operate.
Right. But all that aside, right? Well, because I've had trying to understand this from some people, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really follow along, right? But I was recognizing there was some confusion and misunderstanding by some. And what I was under the impression, and I do respect that we're way into time, but by some who said, listen, in order to legally bring that gun to the shore, I'm just going to use the word gun, they first need to apply for a permit, have it, and then go overseas and acquire it and then bring it back. All right? Because if they don't do that, there are going to be legal consequences.
Well, that's propaganda by the RCIPS.
Okay, well, that's what I understand it to be.
That's not the law. But I'll tell you something. I went to the court a couple of days ago, and I was listening to a case, and I heard someone from the Attorney General's office argue that to the judge, saying there is the law and then there is the practice.
Oh, okay.
I almost fell off of my seat.
Okay.
Because what he was admitting is that they don't follow the law.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
I just find that amazing that the Attorney General's office could go to court and argue such a ridiculous position.
Yeah.
But having said all of that, I don't want to distract from the point that I was calling about.
Thank you. Yeah.
The unconstitutional actions of the government in relation to the Firearms Act. Now, here's what you got to understand. If you're just an ordinary citizen, here's what you got to understand. I'm going to put it in very simple terms.
Yes, sir.
If the government takes a bill to the House and says something like, every person in the Cayman Islands will get 3 meals a day for the next 10 years, how many people in the country you think would support a bill like that?
You tell me.
Well, just your guesstimation on how you know that people think. What do you think they would think?
But you want most people probably would want, the meals there. If you would ask, well, who's serving them? What kind of meals? What time of day? I don't know.
Right. But what if I amended the bill so that the bill said you get the 3 meals a day for the next 10 years, but it'll cost you $150 a day? How many people do you think would support that bill?
Probably very few, right?
That's right. And see, the problem that we're having today is that we're having the House will be discussing things that impact our human rights. You have to understand the bill contains a provision for a penalty in prison that exceeds the life in prison sentence.
Okay.
Life is 30 years. They have in that bill a penalty for 35 years. How many people understand that? The consequence of it and what the cost will be to us as a country. We're not even getting into the rationale of whether that's the appropriate decision.
Right.
Okay. I think the point I'm trying to make to you here is this: is that people are just sitting down and just letting the government do all sorts of nonsense, and they wonder why the cost of living is getting out of hand. It's because of stupidity.
Yeah.
The Attorney General's office should be ashamed of himself. The governor should be ashamed of herself. This is not good governance. It's unconstitutional.
Okay. Hey, thank you for sharing that. And I certainly hope that you don't feel offended nor disrespected. But thanks for sharing with us, all right?
All right. Take care. Bye.
Very, very appreciative for that caller, taking that time, and to our team for loving this access over time. But it's about facilitating discussion and discourse, inviting participation in our democracy. Say whatever it was that I would have said had I said it when I said it. And only to say, let's have a lot more love. Let's try through each other's, eyes to see life and ask ourselves with empathy, with compassion, with love, with commitment, concern, can we be that better one to the other? Join us tomorrow for more Talk Today. Until then, have a blessed, safe, and wonderful afternoon.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6